Bison Media Zone on WDAY Extra.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Bison Media Zone here on this Wednesday morning on WDAY Extra Inform.com. It's a busy time of the year for NDSU football and commits as they make their decision. We're going to hear from Dylan Vokal in just a little bit. He's a stud out of Maple Grove, a 2-star prospect. He's had a bunch of Division I offers, including some FBS offers, and he's made his decision to come to North Dakota State to continue his athletic and academic career. Dom's got the day off today, so you won't see him live, but he did sit down with Dylan just a couple of days ago. So let's hear that conversation and hear from Dylan on why he chose North Dakota State to be his next home.
Tell me about the whole recruiting process here and how early was NDSU interested?
Right. So I've known Coach Grant Olson. He played for my old head coach at my school. So he came to some of our winter lifts probably about a year ago. So I've known him for a while, and kind of this fall I got to go on a game day visit to NDSU. So that was super fun. That was my first time being there, and I loved being in the Fargo Dome. Loved the atmosphere. It was great. So that was really kind of when they really started recruiting me. And all throughout the process, the coaches were just super nice. They made you feel at home, made you feel valued and stuff. And I really appreciated that.
When, in your mind, did Division I football become a reality? Was there a practice, a moment, a game? When did people think I can play at a higher level?
I wasn't really fully believing it until I started getting opportunities to play. That kind of made it a little real. I was like, holy cow, like I've dreamt of this since I was about yay high. So it was super exciting and definitely fun to experience.
What stood out for you about NDSU to say, this is where I want to go?
Right. Definitely the coaching staff, one, is huge. I love Coach Crutcher, the wide receiver coach. I went out there for a junior day, and I just love the way he coaches, the way he motivates his players and stuff. I love Coach Polasek. He's a great guy. Every time I've talked to him, it's made me want to be a Bison. So I love that. I love the location. It's just far enough away, but not too far from where I live. So that's great. I love the facilities. They're amazing. Just the fan base of the NDSU Bison it's amazing. It's a winning program. And I got to get on and talk to the Associate Dean of Engineering and tour some labs and stuff like that. So they've got all the majors I'm looking for, and they check all the boxes, and it's a great place to be.
I was going to ask, so that is engineering where you're heading down?
Yeah, as of right now, that's what I'm leaning towards. So I'm a math and science guy.
You mentioned Grant. How well did you know NDSU in this whole process leading into it? Did you know much about? I know the Bison are pretty popular in the Twin Cities.
Right. Well, I've heard a ton about them. I mean, they win so much that it's kind of hard not to hear about them. So I also have some like family friends that have gone to NDSU, and Jacob Kilser, my old quarterback, he's there now after going to Air Force. Now he's at NDSU. So I've definitely known of the Bison for a long time, and yeah.
Your team is stacked, man. I mean, I know your running back is going to UND. One of your offensive linemen is being recruited to come up here. Tell me about expectations for Maple Grove in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Expectations are certainly high. I mean, we've got a lot of talent, even in the young classes too. We'll see them excel as we get older and stuff. But yeah, we've got a lot of guys. We got a tight knit group. We're getting after it in lifts right now. So there's definitely high expectations, and I think we've got what it takes to make a pretty dang long run. So
what made you say now? Did you want to make the decision before fall camp, before the season? What made you say, I'm done, I'm ready to commit?
Well, I wanted to get on campus one more time to see the academic piece, and I got back and I was like, this is the place. You know, you kind of just get that feeling when you're there. And it's a special feeling for sure. And I just knew this is it. This is what I want to do. So I went up and talked to Polasek, and I was like, let's do this. So it was super fun.
So you committed up here on the spot?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yep.
What was that? What was his reaction when you told him?
Oh my gosh, it was great. We were just hugging and laughing and stuff, and then all the coaches came out and we were just giving high fives, and it was a good time.
For people up here, I think they have a good idea about the level of football that you play every week. Describe that. You know, almost every game you're playing a Division One guy, maybe a Power Five guy you're facing. What's that like on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, absolutely. 6A football in Minnesota is no joke. We get after it. There are some amazing players around, and you get to know them pretty well through things like 7-on-7. And when you go on these junior days and stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, you tackled the crap out of me last week. Like, holy cow. But it's serious stuff, and it makes the preparation each week really important. We watch a ton of film, and I really do love that piece of football as well. My older brother, he played 2 years ago with me. I got to play as a sophomore, and he played as a senior in high school. And he's a student of the game, and he's really kind of taught me how to watch film and look at tendencies and stuff like that. So,
tell me about having this done now. And we talked about it a little bit the other night about playing wide receiver up here. What did you know about it? Knowing full well how the Bison offense is run, what did you need to hear to say, okay, this is what I want to do? I'm okay with going to a team that doesn't throw the ball 50 times a game.
Mm-hmm. They have said that there's opportunities to get me the ball in other ways too, on like things like jet sweeps and maybe some running back opportunities. It kind of depends on how much weight I put on. Right now I'm about 195 to 200, which is relatively large for a wide receiver coming out of high school. So that would be exciting. But they do get their fair share of third down strikes, and I would just be really excited to be a part of the team and help in whatever way I can.
So I was watching a little bit of the highlights. Are you a slot guy? Are you a burner? Where do you normally line up?
I would say I'm more of the burner on the outside, but I kind of play all around in our high school offense. It kind of just depends on the situation and things like that. But I think I can put in the work and play wherever.
I know you mentioned you're playing baseball. When did football become the sport? Like, this is the one I'm going to put all my effort into.
Right. I always was kind of torn between the two. I used to play basketball too, but I knew baseball or football was going to be what I eventually put all my time and focus into. But I think really what did it for me was my sophomore year, getting to play with all the old guys that were going places, and we won a state chip that year, and it was amazing. I felt like I just came in and they took me in and made me super excited about football, and I think that really separated football from baseball, just that camaraderie that you don't really get in baseball, because you're in the school before at like 5:45 a.m. getting lifts in and stuff with these guys. So you just become really good buddies with everyone, and it's a special feeling when you get out there on Friday night and you're winning, and you look at your bro that you've been lifting with all winter. You're like, dude, we did this, So it's special, and it's different than any other sport.
My last question is, I guess, off of that, what was school like on Friday? What was that like for you to walk around knowing this was out there now?
It's super fun. I got a NDSU shirt. We went through the bookstore right after, and I got a shirt and I got the lanyard for my keys. So, I had to have that flopping out of the pocket and stuff. So every time people saw me, it was like, yo, what's up, man? Congrats and stuff. It's super fun. So there's a ton of support through just the Maple Grove community and stuff. And it was a blast for sure.
Have you gone out to celebrate with the parents yet? Is that happening? Are you doing like a dinner or anything like that, or no?
We had a celebratory bags game in the nice. Backyard later that night, so it was pretty sweet. My brother's back from college now, so we had to compete and get after it. So that was pretty fun.
Chatting with Dom Izzo earlier this week, couple of days ago. Future looks bright for NDSU football in this receiving core. Getting a 6'2", 200-pounder. Obviously, he's going to grow once he gets into college. 2-star prospect right now, committing to NDSU. One thing I found was interesting, obviously watching those highlights. Guy's an athlete. You even saw him throw the ball a little bit. He can throw it downfield pretty good. 9 Division I offers, 3 FBS offers, including Army, Air Force, Ohio, and decided to come up here. Location was right for him, and it builds the connection between North Dakota State and Maple Grove, which is a up-and-coming great football program in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, as he mentioned in the interview, he has Jacob Kilzer. Jacob Kilzer transferred from Air Force, defensive end, LaShaka Rokes, who's a senior this year, and then current NFL offensive lineman Nash Jensen, who plays for the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
So starting to get a few more people from that Maple Grove area, which is the cities down in the cities have always been good for the Bison.
Right, exactly. And he touched on it in that interview, the level of competition down there in the cities. And I'm from that area south of the Twin Cities, but it is a whole different world. It is almost watching college football at that point. The kids are huge. They're used to being physical and playing that high level of talent. When you get to the big class in Minnesota, especially down there in the Twin Cities, and Maple Grove has really held their own and become a powerhouse down there. And excited to have Dylan and, of course, Kate Osterman from Elk River was on with Dom not too long ago, transfer from the University of Minnesota. And the receiving core is something right now when we go into this next season, a lot of inexperience going into this next year. So building that up is going to be big.
Losing Eli Green does not help. He really came on strong because he was like your third down go-to guy kind of at the end. You could just throw something up and he'd go get it.
Right.
I mean, he had some unbelievable catches. And it's not great to lose him to a program, but obviously something happened where it just became he couldn't pass up the opportunity to go bet on himself and go play at a higher level than FCS.
So again, 24/7 Sports has him as a two-star prospect. Dylan Vokal, happy to have him on here on Bison Media Zone. Future's looking bright for NDSU. We have a lot more to cover on with them. Is there anything else from that interview that you that jumped off the page to you at all from him?
Just his speed.
Yeah,
like he's fast.
Yep,
and he can throw the ball. Like NDSU loves to run the jet sweeps. That's a perfect way to get on the ball if you're not going to get thrown. As long as you're happy blocking and you're a receiver, you're going to catch the ball at NDSU. They're starting to show that they can start to throw a little bit more, but his speed, they need that speed burner guy, and I don't know if they have it yet. And he's taller, so that helps him. 6'2", you're not going to find a Christian Watson who's like 6'6", 6'7",
right.
A diamond in the rough, like down in Florida. You could... But guys up here are probably going to go. If you're that fast up here, you're probably going to go to the Gophers or somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate Dylan for coming on. And like you said, 6'2", good size from him. We're excited to see what he can do when he comes up here into Bison territory. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll take our first break here on Bison Media Zone. When we come back, we'll talk about some other news around the football team as we continue on this Wednesday morning. Welcome back into Bison Media Zone. Just heard from Dylan Vokal moments ago when he sat down with Dom Izzo, two-star prospect coming to the NDSU football team. Some other news coming out of the NDSU football program. Linebacker Marcus Gully surprised yesterday afternoon. He is now on scholarship. Super cool. Our friend Jeff Kolpak did a story on this that was released earlier this morning. From what it sounds like is they were weightlifting, things go to a halt. Next thing you know, Gully thought he was in trouble, and boom, put on scholarship. So that's a pretty unique experience, and to see the journey that Marcus has been on, that's huge for him. Big congratulations to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. I mean, making the jump from MSU Moorhead, like MSU M, and betting on himself and going to play Division I football can't imagine how. It's not an easy transition to go from that. No,
definitely not. And like you said, definitely bet on himself coming up. He walked on to NDSU. He's a West Fargo Cheyenne guy, and he's sticking local, and it's paying off for him. He's doing good. So now he's on scholarship. In Jeff's article, it says that he was, before this week, he was paying for college through student loans and through a work internship that he's been doing over the summer. So it's great for him that he gets some help out there, and he's rewarded for all that he's done so far.
He's a West Fargo High School product, not a West Fargo Cheyenne.
I thought it was Cheyenne. My bad.
West Fargo High School, and I think I might have read that in the article. It said Cheyenne, but yeah, which is correct. It's a West Fargo, and yeah, he's going to be a player for the Bison this year at that linebacker spot, and they got some big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. So big congratulations to him. And we'll go from one West Fargo native getting rewarded, doing some big things, and Marcus Gully over to another one. NDSU baseball just picked up a new commit. This is coming in the last 15 minutes or so. Alex Erlob committing to North Dakota State baseball. If I'm correct, Charleston Southern
Charleston Southern.
That's where he's coming from. I've seen a couple of clips from him when he was down there, and this is big news for NDSU baseball. Some breaking news here on Bison Media Zone.
Yeah, he's coming back home to play. I mean, this last season probably not the way he wanted it to go. He only hit .212, appeared in 50 games, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs. So maybe not the season he wanted, but just the fresh, like to be able to come back home and play your final collegiate season in front of a home crowd. It's got to be a pretty good feeling for him. West Fargo.
Yep.
This is the West Fargo Cheyenne product right here. Alex Erlob.
Exactly. And of course, we've all known what Cheyenne has done on the diamond over the years and the success that they've had. So bringing that
a three-peat for a state title, and this year they didn't even make the tournament.
Yep. Well, I'm sure they'll be back on the horse here soon. That's for sure. But it's also huge for this NDSU team that's had success over the last couple of years. Now you're bringing in a guy with big time Division I experience and talent onto this program.
Yeah, and NDSU baseball. I mean, I think 2 years ago, last year they had 2 prospects go to the majors, and Cade Feeney, and I forget there was one other one, and I can't remember his name, so I apologize. But that's big time for them to get a local kid to come back home to want to play your final season at home. That's pretty special, I think.
Absolutely. And do have one more thing just want to pass along as we get into our final couple of moments of Bison Media Zone on this Wednesday. The USA Track and Field U20 Championships are coming up very soon on Thursday. It's out in Eugene, Oregon. And a couple of members of the Bison are going to be out there doing that. One of them is Annika Larson from Cambridge, Minnesota. She's going to be competing in the women's 200-meter dash. And Trey Heinrich, the name that we're familiar on the football side from Kindred, he's going to be competing in the 110-meter hurdles at Hayward Field. So best of luck to them as well. Eric, anything else? Thanks for popping on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Dom will be back a little bit later on. We appreciate you for joining us on Bison Media Zone. It will be back again next week on Wednesday at 10:30. Until then, have a great rest of your week.